Hello children, I hope all of you are fine, and now here we are going to start with the new academic session of 2021-2022. This is the recording for class 8 English, and the textbook that we are going to use is the NCERT prescribed textbook, that is Honey Dew. And we are going to start with the very first lesson. The first lesson in the text is the best Christmas present in the world. It's actually a very interesting story, and like how it was done, likewise we will read the story and either paragraph by paragraph, or we will be explaining the story. This story is actually taken place during the World War One. Okay, and how during the most celebrated festival of Christmas, how two countries were at war, and how the soldiers, instead of warring on that particular day, how they brought peace and how they brought smiles to the soldiers who were at the war front. Okay, so now I will read the story, and after I read a particular session, I will also explain the session. Okay, so starting with the very first lesson, the best Christmas present in the world. So it starts on page 9. So if you have got your textbooks with you, kindly open to page 9. I spotted it in a junk shop in Bridport, a roll-top desk. The man said it was early 19th century and oak. I had wanted one, but they were far too expensive. This one was in a bad condition, the roll top in several pieces, one leg clumsily mended, scotch marks all down one side. It was going for very little money. I thought I could restore it. It would be a risk, a challenge, but I had to have it. I paid the man and brought it back to my workroom at the back of the garage. I began work on it on Christmas Eve. I removed the roll top completely and pulled out the drawers. The veneer had lifted almost everywhere. It looked like water damage to me. Both fire and water had clearly taken their toll on this desk. The last drawer was stuck fast. I tried all I could to ease it out gently. In the end, I used brute force. I struck it sharply with the side of my fist, and the drawer flew open to reveal a shallow space underneath a secret drawer. There was something there. I reached in and took out a small black tin box. Sellotaped to the top of it was a piece of lined notepaper, and written on it in shaky handwriting, Jim's last letter, received January 25, 1915. To be buried with me when the time comes. I knew as I did it that it was wrong of me to open the box, but curiosity got the better of my scruples. It usually does. Inside the box there was an envelope. The address read, Mrs. Jim McPherson, 12 Copper Peaches, Bridport, Dorset. I took out the letter and unfolded it. It was written in pencil and dated at the top, December 26, 1914. So this is the first part of the lesson. Now for the explanation. So now here the narrator says that as he was strolling around in the Bridport area, he came across a junk shop, and in the junk shop he spotted a roll top desk. Now, a roll top desk is actually a table where it's actually a writing table where you can sit and write at it, and then there is anyway, you won't be using the whole part of the table when you're writing. You will only be using a certain section, and the latter part of the table is actually a enclosed area where you have a shutter like thing where you can pull it up, and you can store your writing materials or stationery items there. And then when you are done with it and all, you can just pull down the shutter, like it will roll down, like how those shutters are there for the shops. So you can see those shutters where when you want to open your shop, you roll it up, and then at the end of the day, when you're finished with all your work and your businesses and activities and all, you pull down the shutter. So like that way, this was a roll top desk. And I think so, if you visit your grandparents' house and all, this could be still a part of furniture in your grandparents' house. So here this narrator, he came upon a roll top desk, and actually he was looking out for such type of a desk. He had wanted this for very, very badly, and now as he was strolling down the streets of Bridport, and as he came upon this junk shop, he found what he wanted, and it happened to be a very, very old one. It was the early 19th century, and it was made out of oak. And he goes on to say that when he inquired about the price, it was not a very expensive one, but it was not expensive because it was actually a very old one, and it was in a very bad condition. As you notice that it was in several it was actually broken and at several places, but it was all stuck together, or it was mended. And he noticed that at one place the leg was clumsily mended. Then there were scotch marks, there were burn marks, all at the side or at one side. And moreover, it was being sold for very little money. So he thought that okay, he will purchase it, he will take it home, and then he will try to restore it to its original shape. It would be a risk, a challenge, but I had to have it. So he's saying that it was a great challenge for him that to restore such an old rickety-tickety piece of furniture, but it was a challenge, so he took it, and moreover he was paying very little money for it. But I had to have it, and moreover he had very badly wanted that type of furniture. I paid the man and brought it back to my workroom at the back of the garage. I began work on it on Christmas Eve. So he says that he finally bought that piece of furniture, and then he brought it back to the area where he was. He had a particular area in his house, that in his garage, that was his work area, where he would be doing all his repair stuff and things like that. And he bought it and he placed it there, and then finally he began work on it. And he says that he began work on it on Christmas Eve, so that means on the 24th of December, a day before Christmas. I removed the roll top completely and pulled out the drawers. So now he started dismantling that roll top desk. The veneer had lifted almost everywhere. So now here, if you look at the side, the meaning of veneer is given. It was some decorative, a thin layer of plastic or decorative wood that was attached on that furniture, just to make that piece of furniture a little more attractive or decorative. It looked like water damage to me. So he was, with his, sharp eye, he was now scrutinizing that furniture, and he was trying to find out what were the different damages that was there on that furniture. Then he says that both fire and water had clearly taken their toll on this desk. So he says that yes, this table has faced a lot of it faced disasters. That means water has been carelessly spilled on it, and then of course it may have been caught in some type of fire accidents also. The last drawer was stuck fast, so now he started opening out and trying to he was dismantling it piece by piece, and so now he was removing out, pulling out one drawer of it, and then he saw that the last drawer was stuck. I tried all as I could to ease it out gently. In the end, I used brute force. I struck it sharply with the side of my fist, and the drawer flew open to reveal a shallow space underneath, a secret drawer. So you were saying he tried to pull out the last drawer, but it was not coming out. So sometimes when we also want something to come out, it doesn't come out, so we finally use force. So here also he used force, and what he did was with the side of his hand, he he rolled his hand into a fist, and with this fist he just banged at the side of the table, and then when that impact with his fist impacted on the side of the table, the drawer became loose and it came out. And then when he looked into it, he saw the contents of it to reveal a shallow space underneath, a secret drawer. So when the drawer came out, he saw that there was a shallow space there, and then there was a secret drawer inside. And when he checked what was there inside the drawer, he found something. I reached in and took out a small tin box. So with his hand, he started feeling inside the drawer, and he saw that there was something, and then with his hand he pulled it out, and he saw that there was a small tin box, and sellotaped on top of it was a piece of paper, which was it had some handwritten writings on it, and he noticed that the writing was very shaky, and he was reading the handwriting, and then he saw that it was written, Jim's last letter received January 25, 1915. So here the person who received the letter wrote that it was the person who sent the letter's name, that was Jim's last letter. And also there were some instructions that were to be buried with me when the time comes. I knew as I did it that it was wrong of me to open the box. So now when he opened the box, and he saw that the paper was stuck on it, sellotaped on it was this handwritten paper. So he says that the narrator says that yes, it was wrong of me to open and see what were the contents of the box, but we become inquisitive, and we become and we want to know what are the contents especially in such type of box. So out of curiosity, out of inquisitiveness, he opened the box, and then he says that inside that tin box there was an envelope, and then the address was it was addressed to Mrs. Jim McPherson, 12 Copper Beeches, Bridport, Dorset. I took out the letter and unfolded it. It was written in pencil and dated at the top December 26, 1914. So as he opened the tin box, he saw the address that was written. He saw to whom it was addressed, and then also he saw that it was a letter that was written, and the date of the letter was also mentioned. So children, I will end my first audio module here, and then I will continue with my second module in my in the second audio. Okay children, thank you.